At the same time, I realize that there are some that may want to move on and that may want to get trained better to be better teachers. That's great. But how much should we be funding as the public? That's the question. And how much can we help meet these needs of these teachers through a private way or nonprofit way?
Getting back to your platform, too, I do have to ask, because I've been reading a lot of articles, and I read editorial in the Tribune, and it made a strong point of the idea of creationism, and I guess your stance on that. What is your stance on that? How important is that to you as part of your candidacy, I guess?
Well, absolutely. Well, as being a Christian conservative voice, I have had a number of parents that are concerned that one part is it's kind of two-part, and one is teaching of America's Christian heritage. Parents are concerned that our textbooks over the years are not the textbooks that they grew up with, and that we're not teaching our Christian heritage, and we're not talking about teaching religion. What we're talking about is just saying that the Bible did have an important impact, and look at these quotes from our founders. They really did. This had an important. This was at the core of the founding of our nation, just from a historical perspective, and that teachers should not have to fear if they're bringing this up in discussions or if it's in the materials. They should not have to try to censor or edit it out to try to be politically correct. It is a part of our nation and our heritage. The other part of that was, you mentioned like intelligent design. I believe it should be a part of discussion and part of debate because that promotes students' critical thinking skills and that open discussion and logical analysis of scientific theories that are out there, which includes intelligent design, as well as the theory of evolution. I think that is part of the educational process, and that it should not be just. Some are saying, well, we should just censor that out. We shouldn't even talk about that because that might even suggest that we might have been created from, being greater than ourselves. We might not have just been initiated from, amoeba and such. But that is a theory, and that is many people believe that and think that, and so here's this idea, and here's the theory of evolution, and let kids be able to debate and think through those ideas. I mean, that's part of the learning process, I believe.
Are you talking an entire change in curriculum? I mean, weeks and weeks of debate, or are we talking just a presentation of it maybe once or twice in the classroom? You know what I mean? Is it going to be is it something that you would like to see a strong emphasis on, or at least just a mention of, I guess?
Well, from my understanding is that even the theory of evolution isn't really discussed in depth. I think there's a lot of other things that they talk about in science class, and so it's not something that they go into weeks and weeks as it is. So I would say, and so far as cost would go, I mean, you can find all this information on the internet. Teachers can have materials that are put together that we're not talking about, investing thousands of dollars in anything. We're just saying, I'd be looking at it more from a policy perspective. Let's ensure that teachers are open to be able to bring up these subjects, and that, this material is available and they're able to touch on it, and that there is not some sort of a repercussion or some sort of a reprimand for teachers to be able to bring up the idea.
I see. Sir, I've kind of directed conversation. That's really all the questions I had. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything else you think we've missed, I guess?
No, I think that you touched on all the top things. Again, one of my big issues is that I will not be supporting measures that will increase taxes, and I want to ensure that we live within our means. It's going to be a tough time for our nation, and it is a tough time for our district, but I believe that we have to be responsible, because part of educating our kids and ensuring that they have the best education we can provide is also ensuring that we're not putting a lot of debt on their shoulders for the future, and they already have what is around $46,000 per child or something like that per person for all of our debt, and we've got to try to attack that. Again, my name's Sara Dickson. I'd appreciate if people would. I ask for people's vote on April 5th. I can be found on Twitter at Vote for Sara. That's VOTE4 Sara. On Facebook, Sara Dickson for School Board, and on the web at dixonforschoolboard.postress.com.
Okay, Sara. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.